Okay, so now what we want to do is you want to let's see, where is it at now? You want to see the little mail icon, the little arrow that on there on the
Yeah.
phone, so that you can send to the people who are on your page, and just let them know you're on live. Like that. You click it, and then all the people that are on your page will come up, and you might want to type a quick little message in there, and at the bottom, once you click one person's name,
Yeah.
you could write a message and it'll come up and say, hey, we're on live now. Oh shoot, I'm hitting the wrong thing. Hey, we're on live now. Come check us out during your lunch break or whatever.
All right. Let me try to do that right now.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing.
Oh.
Yeah, so I just sent it. And yeah, like that. So hold on 1 minute. Let me turn the fan around. Child, it's hot. All right. Got it? Are you still doing it?
Just a sec. I'm doing it still. Hold on. Sorry.
Mm-mm. Take your time. It's okay. Get a napkin. Oh boy.
For some reason, I'm doing it one by one, but
Should have been able to hit all the circles.
I'm not. See, I'm not. When we get together again, because I'm not seeing all the circles for this part here, which is fine. I don't have that many people here here yet. Hold on, let me see. Woo.
Hey, Ma'ad Hashem. Peace, sister. Thank you for joining us. Greetings. Is the Nana name change? I don't know if I'm saying that right, but peace and welcome and greetings. We are online here with the fabulous Simply Netfah, Mama Netfah, and this is Mama Yoga's green juice sip and chew. Sip and chat. What I call it? The chat and chew or whatever it
The
is.
chat and chew.
Yeah, the green juice chat
Chat and chew.
lunchtime offering here. Thank y'all so much for coming on. We appreciate you all for checking us out. So Netfah,
Hey,
you're live, girl.
I heard.
Yeah.
My first one. This is my first IG live.
Yeah, I have to say, not with hubris or boastful, but I'm just introducing all of the OGs to the technology. What?
I know, right? It's a long time coming for me. I know.
It's quite an honor. It's quite an honor. I had Keswa moved
It
to
is.
perfect,
Likewise.
and we going on and on. Yep. But you beautiful as ever. Got your hair all, you know, crown sitting up nice and high, which is what you do.
That's
Which
what
is
I do.
which is definitely an art form. We appreciate that for sure. Um, tell our viewers who Netfah is and Simply Netfah.
So I am a raptologist and a holistic clothing designer. Been doing both for over 20 years
Mm-hmm.
and travel around the country pretty much showing women how to adorn themselves from head to toe
Mm-hmm.
in a holistic, mindful, transformational fashion using, clothing and textiles um, as a tool for adornment, but also expression, also to subdue or enhance our energies, just bring a very mindful and conscientious approach to our dress using adornment the way it was used back in the day of antiquity, to as a outward expression of our inner consciousness, but also as a protective device and a reflective uh, means of expression.
Sure, sure. That's powerful. That's an art form and really a spiritual science that has, been lost living in, the hells of North America, as our beloved brother from the NOI says. So, talk a little bit. Let's dialogue a little bit more about the presentation, the external presentation, particularly of woman, and our brothers too. We can see that even though we're not conscious of the science of your external presentation, it still precedes you. It's still speaking volumes to how you show,
Sure,
you know. And you hit on something really strong and powerful here when you say, in antiquity, your outer gear, your outer presentation or adornments were not only just that, adornments and beautifying, but also a sign of protection, or also can be
sure,
protection. Expound on that
sure.
a little bit.
So when we speak about, the protective aspect of it,
Mm-hmm.
we're certainly talking about from an environmental perspective, right? We
Mm-hmm.
we adorned ourselves to protect ourselves from the environment, right? And so there was, if you look at Tuareg, the brothers in the Sudan and sisters, with the head wraps in the certain colors to protect themselves from the energy of the sun, from the rays of the sun, to protect themselves from the sand and the elements, in every um, environment, in every culture, there is a subculture that wraps their hair for one reason or another. And a lot of times, the basis of it was first and primary for protection, right, of the body on a physical level. And then it was protection of the body on a spiritual level, right,
Mm-hmm.
by using certain colors to subdue or enhance our energies, by crowning our heads,
Mm-hmm.
right, where our hair, from many of us indigenous folks, our hair is not an ether, has that curl to it, so it acts as an antenna,
Yeah.
right? So as an antenna, you're giving and receiving even more so energy, right? So there's a concept of protecting yourself energetically and spiritually by wrapping your hair,
Mm-hmm.
and we can go that further. So those two protective aspects of adornment is what I speak to and speak on from, again, from an ancient perspective, from a very primal, basic perspective,
Mm-hmm.
to now a more spiritual and energetic perspective.
Yeah. Well, we could see throughout history, the especially adorning the crown, with the various head wraps and head coverings, have religious significance, as well as, beautification. Especially like,
Sure,
sisters, we wear our hair wraps nowadays, not so much with the consciousness of protection, but with the conscious. Well, sometimes I have to backtrack on that, because often when I wrap my hair, it is, um, fashionable, and it adds to my external presence in a way that I think is attractive, and the type of presentation I'd like to make. But there are times when I say I'm gonna wrap my head up because of the energy that you just shared,
hmm
to keep that crown chakra and those antennae known as my locks or my hair from, receiving unwanted, energies. And that is very, very important, and a science that we really need to get back to. So how long have you been a raptologist, Netfa?
On professional level, I would say 20 years,
Mm-hmm.
but I've been wrapping my hair for 32 now.
32. How you come
Yeah.
at number 32? You just like 32. You've been counting, huh?
Well, as of recently, I had to put some work together for a proposal I'm doing, and so I never really thought about it, and right, because you've just been rapping forever, it seems.
Yeah.
And I'm like 20, 30. Okay, I'm
Yeah.
over 30 years now.
Wow. Give thanks. That's blessed. That's a blessing.
Yeah,
Yeah. So you see, when I was working in the hospital, and this is on a whole nother different level, but when I was working in the hospital in the cancer unit, I was wearing my hair wrapped, and this is in the late 80s, early 90s, right? And the sisters or the women in the hospital who were going through treatment wanted me to show them how to wrap their hair, because they were going through treatment. And at that time, 20 some odd, 25 plus years ago, there wasn't really this big boom of, turbans and ready-made head wraps for people to put on and that kind of thing. So I would have sessions of just taking people with the, using cloth, like a yard and a half of cloth, and show the people how to do like a generic wrap. But
right.
I never like learned how to wrap my crown. I just,
And you rap it so lovely. Every time I see you, it's so lovely.
it's a spirit thing. And I don't even use a mirror until I'm done. I just always
Yeah,
close my eyes and just let the energy, the ancestor, the great mother speak to how she wanted. And sometimes when it's warrior time, it'd be the great father that done threw that wrap up there. So we know that wearing your hair covered is can be a spiritual vibrational thing as well, more so than a lot of things. Speak to that, dear.
yeah. Just like you're saying, like oftentimes especially earlier on when I was teaching, a lot of women were interested in particularly the crown style eyewear, which
Mm-hmm.
has become a signature just by time, right?
Yeah.
And they were really kind of concerned, or the intention was to really get it quote unquote right and
Mm-hmm.
get it, that way or this particular style. And I get that, right? If you're trying to go for a certain style. Um, but one of the things I would always encourage is to allow yourself to just experience the art of it, right? And like you're saying, that kind of like that oneness
Yeah.
of wrapping your hair without this preconceived notion of what's right or wrong or correct or how to do it the right way. I mean, certainly, because it does have a rooted history in many different cultures and subcultures, especially, when we look at the Yoruba, the Gele style in the
Oh
Yoruba
yes.
community in
Mm-hmm.
Nigeria. Certainly, when you're wrapping your hair in a traditional way or in an indigenous way, then there is a right, or there's definitely
There's a
meaning
tradition.
given to right. If
Yeah.
you wrap it with it one side down, it could mean something totally different than if you wear it with one side up. So certainly there is, when you're wrapping it in that context, you want to pay attention to what it means, right? But then when you're wrapping it here on a contemporary level, as there's a woman here, it's really more about your creative energy, right? And tapping into that genetic memory, which have me tell it, and I say it every time in my workshops. There, from what I see and the testimonies I hear and see firsthand, there
Mm-hmm.
is a genetic memory involved with the head wrapping piece.
Absolutely.
Um, that something happens. It can be a very transformational experience for women, young and old,
Mm-hmm.
or young and seasoned, when they wrap their hair. That's why, there was certainly a time where, like you're saying, we're kind of on the tail end of it, but for the last couple of years, it's trend. It's cyclical and it's trending to
Mm-hmm.
wrap your hair, right? And it's in fashion, and so certainly as a raptologist, um, the opportunity to mass produce head wraps, right? Or make them already made
Yep.
like this or like your style.
Mm-hmm.
Certainly for those who don't want to take the time or have the time or the patience to wrap their hair, there's an opportunity to just put it on your head like a hat, right?
Mm-hmm.
I never aligned with that for myself personally. No judgment on those who create them. I just
Well,
never aligned with it because something gets lost with that for me. Something gets lost in the cookie cutter, put it on your head approach, when there's an art form that can be used in place. It's almost like when locks kind of came out or were trending for a while and people were getting the overnight locks put in their hair. Hair looks just like locks as opposed to like growing their locks and going through the process. And it
right.
is such a spiritual, energetic, um, you know, ancestral process and experience when you go that route as opposed to just like the makeshift.
Right.
I don't know if I belabored the answer on that one, but it is something I'm very passionate about and something I feel very deeply about, and something again in my workshops, and I've been blessed to adorn and hear the stories of many, many, many men and women who wrap their hair
Mm-hmm.
and how they came along the journey, and there are testimonies that certainly speak to something that happens, a transformational experience, and something that happens on a spiritual, energetic level when you really are wrapping your hair from a organic, authentic place,
Absolutely.
as opposed to just kind of not doing it for, or as opposed to doing it for like the trend or to be in style.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, that's a beautiful thing. But again, this is a part of the sciences, the spiritual science that, um, has been lost, but we know we could feel the vibration of the resurface, We have a comment
Yeah,
here from the sister, Abby Star. Peace, sister. It says, it's weird.
peace.
I feel the same way if someone else wraps my hair as opposed to me doing it myself. Yeah, like, you can have a different kind of vibrational energy anytime you let somebody go to your crown, or go to access your crown energy or your head energy. So, as Netfah says, she has wrapped literally thousands of women and men, over these last 30 years or 22 years. You said 32 years. Um, and there's a priestly energy in somebody else wrapping your hair. Like, their energy has to be clean. Just like if you go to get your hair done at a loctician, or even just, a cosmet, what is the name? I ain't been to the,
Cosmetologist.
yes, a cosmetologist. Thank you. Words, reach for your words, Mama Yoga. Anyway, like the Southern mothers used to say, child, don't let everybody up in your hair. It's the same
Yeah.
wrap with head wrapping, you know. So yeah, the sister's comment has validity. Yes.
One of the things I just on that note that the sister brought to the floor and that you're saying, Samu, one of the things I make sure to do out of respect, and just a mindfulness when I'm wrapping women's heads, especially in my workshops, the first thing I'm going to ask is, can I touch your hair? Can I touch your hair?
Right.
Right? I'm not going to just start pulling your locks back and your braids up to wrap your hair without first getting permission from that, because I'm real clear that I have energy, you have energy, and we're exchanging energy here.
That's right. Absolutely. Absolutely. There was last year at the Goddess in the Garden event, you were doing you gave a presentation on wrapping, head wrapping for the women that were there. And there was really a transformational energy that I witnessed at that particular gathering, as you wrapped the women's hair, as you had people come up and you demonstrated on them. And even though it seemed that the rap was the flow in which you rapped was similar, but each outcome was different. It was unique to the
Yeah.
audience. Share. You remember that? Share your experience with that as well.
Yeah, I mean, I've wrapped my hair, really, I've been wrapping my hair since I was 17. It's a long, long time I've been wrapping my hair.
Mm-hmm.
And um, even though the head wrap looks the same or
Mm-hmm.
very similar, every time is different. Each and every time is different.
Mm-hmm.
Each and every time.
Yeah.
Um, and and after a while, you kind of, for me, because of my relationship with my head wrap, being in my head wrap, and my
Mm-hmm.
head wraps, I should say, there are times where my head wrap is leading me. Like I might have an idea,
Mm-hmm.
but there's times when my fabric is leading me and it's telling me where it wants to go, right?
Right. Right.
But yeah, you can wrap it. It's almost like and it's almost funny too, in that this after 30 something years, and I rap pretty much in those years. I mean, you know me for many of those.
Yes.
I would say maybe 90% of the time that you see me outside, my head is wrapped. I certainly give my hair the respect and the love and the light and the energy and the breeze that it needs, right?
Mm-hmm.
Because that's one thing a lot of us will wrap our hair, especially if you're wrapping for spiritual reasons and it's part of your doctrine.
Yep.
And we're wrapping our hair all the time, but we're not taking care of the hair underneath, and that's we have to do better with that. But there are times where after wrapping for so long, I still have bad head wrap days. There are days that my head wrap is just not cooperating with me. It's just like a
Yeah.
bad hair day. It
Yeah.
really is. You know, and like if you have if you've ever tried to do a new style with your own hair, right? And it's not cooperating. The same thing with the head wrap. It really there's certain things certain fabric can do, certain things it can't, and certain things it wants to do at that time. You just kind of you gotta have the relationship with it, right?
That's
But
right.
no, I had bad hair days, and I had days again, like you just mentioned earlier, where the wrap style, the technique is similar, but
Mm-hmm.
maybe a slight twist here changes it, or a rotation here
Mm-hmm.
changes it. I have a workshop series called Wrap Tuck.
Mm-hmm.
It's basically what you're doing. You're wrapping, tucking.
Mm-hmm.
But how it turns out after you tighten it up and everything could be different. But
I love
technique
that.
is very similar.
I love
Mm-hmm.
that. Rap, tuck. Rap,
Yep.
tuck. I'm gonna put that in the chat right here.
Put it in there. Yeah.
Rap, tuck. We gonna hashtag that, y'all. Everybody listening, could you follow the hashtag Raptologist, and hashtag simply Netfah, right? Rap, tuck. That's gonna be a hashtag too. I love that. I keep hitting the wrong because I got like a million computers going on here. So
Mm.
yes, that's beautiful, beautiful. So let's I always like to take some questions from anybody that's people that are listening because and viewing us. I'm going to comport this to the Mind Body Energy and Balance podcast as well, as has been my tendency to do. Sisters that are listening, as well as any brothers that are listening, you can leave a comment as to what your experience with wrapping your hair head has been, and the reasons why you wrap your head, or any comment that you want to share with us around that. I type rap truck, right. Keep on
Might not want to do that.
trucking, baby. Hey. Well, obviously, I need some more green juice. Yeah. So, as you say, Netfah, we've known each other a long time. We are very close friends. We are very close sisters, and have been for the whole time that we've known each other over these many, many years. And I've watched your offering transform, from creating wares for people to creating the educational piece, right? Because
Yeah.
oftentimes with these heart-centered businesses that we are bringing forward, these heart-centered offerings, there has to be like a learning curve for our
And most
particular
definitely.
demographic. Can you speak to that somewhat? Share with us some of the courses that you offer, and how people can reach out to you for those.
Yeah. And like you said, someone, both of us have seen each other grow and we have supported each other over the years. And it's truly a blessing in the work that we do and the women that we work with.
Mm-hmm.
And so it's imperative. It always has been. I started off making clothing for women, adorning women holistically. That means that there's a consciousness to the pieces I create for women. We're using all natural materials, cotton, linen, wool, silk, materials that breathe with our body. There's a mindfulness to color, how color can subdue or enhance our energies. And so there's always been that approach. My avenue of expression is adornment through textiles.
Mm-hmm.
But at the base of it is, my call to educate, empower, heal, and inspire through my creativity and my experiences. And so that will always be a base and foundation to whatever offerings I'm bringing. So if I'm doing a head wrap workshop or a wrap tuck workshop, which is the wrap tuck is really like if you want to have you and your girlfriends celebrating birthday party or just a private affair with an intimate group of sisters, and you want me to come in and teach you how to wrap your hair and share in dialogue how we're sharing now, and
Mm-hmm.
some tips and tricks for wrapping. That's where the wrap back tuck comes in, that kind of workshop. And then I would mention I travel around the country. Usually I've for years through the Locks Conference. For those who are Philly, if you've ever gone to the Locks Conference,
Oh,
I've been part of their tour as well as Malika's uh, Dreads and Heads Natural Hair Care Tour down in Baltimore,
mm-hmm.
and several others. And so when I'm working on that platform or exchanging energy and sharing information on that platform, uh, the offering is the same, probably a little longer.
Mm-hmm.
And then I offer the Fundamentals of Raw Clothing Construction Workshop, which is a wonderful one workshop. I have to say for myself, and I say that because just the the opportunity to offer practical life skills from um, how to clothe your body depending on what shape it is, how to subdue or enhance your physical form through clothing, how to again use color to subdue or enhance your energy, how to make clothing and accessories without a sewing machine.
Mm-hmm.
You know,
Mm-hmm.
from a it's a workshop that I've been doing for 20 something years. I started off in the school system. I offer it in enrichment programs through the schools district. I offer it on a communal level and through organization. It's basically for men and women from 11 years old and up, and I'm teaching the basics of the fundamentals rather of clothing construction, how to adorn yourself. If the lights were off or you didn't have electricity, the lights went out, how do you keep yourself clothed? It's one of the needs that we have as humans,
Mm-hmm.
food, clothing, and shelter. How do we adorn ourselves? How do we, you know, reintroduce and return to slow fashion, right? We live in a world of fast fashion where, a lot of the fashion industries um, practices are very harmful to our Mother Earth. And as Earth stewards, we need to find better ways um, to make use of her resources and to preserve her resources. This workshop is in one way to reintroduce for some and to further cultivate for others how to recycle, how to repurpose, how to reconstruct fabric and clothing. Um, I teach it from an economics perspective as well, and a self-sustainability perspective, and finally from an entrepreneurial perspective. How can I turn this creativity that's coming through me and being expressed through clothing and fabric into a business, right?
Mm-hmm.
So that's another offering, and then I also do the sacred adornment fashion shows,
Mm-hmm.
basically. Just again, like I was mentioning earlier in our discussion, Samu, is, our clothing is an outward expression of an inner consciousness. It really is.
Mm-hmm.
And so, how to really make use of this tool called textile and clothing to reflect that, right? And to raise our vibrations and in the spirit of the ancestors to have, to walk with this meaning and this rootedness, right? And
Mm-hmm.
so I teach it from those perspectives. I have and I give thanks for the uh, the passion and the call and the ability to marry
Mm-hmm.
my passion for wellness and self-care with the clothing, right? So
Mm-hmm.
that's why we have the holistic clothing design, the consciousness brought to this art form.
Mhm. That's beautiful. I mean, just beautiful. As you're sharing, the various offerings that Simply Netfah Holistic Boutique shares with the community at large, the image of our young women was coming to mind, and when you talk about the fashion industry being, their practices from manufacturing to even the perception of what is beauty, how destructive that is for the planet as well as for various communities. The image of our young women, young young girls coming into puberty on up to young womanhood, 13, say I don't even know. I think they may start younger now, but let's just say the teens on up to young adulthood. Really, many of our young sisters could use an example and an understanding of that outward expression and how what you wear speaks volumes to your vibrational energy and what you're attracting to yourself. Don't get me wrong. When I was in my youth, honey, stuff was like a grape, tightened up, squeezed up, pushed up,
Mm-hmm.
calling that energy forward, But as you grow older and you look at the examples and your vibrational energy has an adjustment, you want to have more free flowing, you want to have more sensual but not seductive in that way, in that overtly sexual way presentation. So I think sharing what you do, what you offer with young women's groups and organizations, and sisters who have gathered young women together to help give them an introduction and an idea to how they can adorn themselves in a beautiful way that is not necessarily, presenting everything out on a platter in terms of their physical body, right? And then I want to say also, just because you wear form-fitting things don't mean that is not attractive. Because
Yeah.
I think all my stuff just about like if you have curves, show them bad boys, you know.
Sure. I mean, our bond, yeah, our vessels are not meant to be shamed, certainly, right? But like you said just a moment ago, there's a way that you can adorn yourself and carry yourself
Mm-hmm.
that can reflect and enhance those attributes and those aspects of ourselves on an energetic level
Mm-hmm.
that don't have to result in full disclosure
Right.
of the body, right?
Right.
Just as, like you're saying, on the reverse side, I've seen women that look like this
Right.
and look like you, who, when they open their mouth
Right.
and the way they're moving, you're
Mm-hmm.
just kind of trying to connect the dots, like,
Yeah.
right? So there's for me, I'm always going to suggest and invite women who I'm adorning, who I'm in circle with
Mm-hmm.
in workshops, to take some ownership,
Yes.
right? Um, and a consciousness that these young ladies, just an awareness that there are others looking at you, and maybe you might be more than just a woman passing by with a head wrap. You might be this woman's inspiration, this young girl's inspiration, Um, and so there's a consciousness I invite women to kind of
Mm-hmm.
take hold of in their adornment, right? In their presentation. And like you said, some of them, like you can, if I love my shoulders, I love the sun on my shoulders, right? And a lot of my pieces reflect that,
Yeah,
right? I don't have any, um, need to justify that, right? Because I know how I'm carrying myself. You
absolutely.
understand? Um,
Absolutely.
and it's about that self mastery, that self knowledge, that self awareness, that ownership of your I am God self. Period.
Mm-hmm.
Like when I do the fashion shows, and some of my models might be on the call right now listening, but they know these are women who when I'm telling you when you're going out there to rock a simply Netfah wear, like own your I am God self,
Mm.
right?
Mm.
Own that I am divine God self. Own it. And it's so transformational, right? But it all starts here. It all starts here.
Yeah, in the mind. That's right. In the way that you think and in your perception. Absolutely, absolutely. So we had Sister Ma'at say that she loves your pieces and the way that they make. I love your clothes and how they make me feel when I wear them. That's Sister.
Is that my Hashem?
Yeah, that's Ma'at Hipsai.
Yes, and she's one of the models. She's one of my models. My aunt, she knows, and she owns it. You modeled for me. You own your thing. And you're not your thing, but your I am God's self. And yeah. And on that note, I there's a certain amount of energy that the wearer brings to the clothing, right? But there is definitely a certain amount of energy that glows into the clothing. Like I'm aware. I know what ancestors are moving through I know that.
Yeah.
When I'm creating,
Mm.
there's energy going into this clothing.
Mm-hmm.
And the clothing has just as much an effect on how we feel in our energy as we do to the clothing. It's such a interchangeable, energetic exchange. It really is.
Yeah,
So I'm
absolutely.
honored when I hear that. When I hear that women like the way the clothing makes them feel, I know that I'm in alignment with the work I'm supposed to be doing. I know that, that I'm on course.
Absolutely, absolutely. So yeah, I mean that's the work of an artist and a spiritually aligned artist at that is that you are creating, the ancestral energy is moving through you and what gets created through that then seeks the match of the person. The person when they go to the rack and they say, "Ooh, there's a
Yeah.
vibration on that
Yep.
is lining up with them." It's just like everything else. When you go buy a pair of shoes, or when you go buy some flowers, or when you get some crystals from our beloved Crystal John Zola, or wherever you get these different implements. There are vibrations on all of these things. And when you go to
Mm-hmm.
that rack, that Simply Netfah rack, and you pull it out, over the years I've bought, several pieces, and I at different times they'll call to me and be like, okay, it's time to wear this now.
Yeah.
Like recently at the Gods and the Gods event, the event that I wore to the brothers, the garment that I wore to the brothers gathering was a creation you made for me. Gosh, it's got to be 15 years ago. Hallelujah, I can still fit it. What?
Right.
But it was so like I was thinking of what to wear, and she just popped in my mind, and she's like, okay, no, you wear this is flowing and feminine, and and it's appropriate and absolutely just will set it off for that gathering. So your pieces are like that. They're an entity, they're a
Mm-hmm.
being, they're an energy, they're vibrational, balance and flow. And
Yeah.
we love that about Simply Netfah.
Yeah, I'm humbled. I'm humbled to be, the catalyst for that. There was a time in just some real quick where and I shared with you some because we talk often, maybe about 2 years ago, where my creative flow, it wasn't there,
Yeah.
right? And there was a lot of transition happening in my life. And much to disappointment of a lot of my clients, I wasn't creating for a minute,
Yeah.
right? Because I knew to force it, to try to force it,
Mm-hmm.
wasn't going to turn out right. It
Yeah.
just energetically wasn't going to turn out right. So, and it was hard to sit back and just allow myself to go through the process of what I had to go through. Um, but I share that because just as that energy uh, is infused in my clothing when I make it, when that energy is or that creativity is saying no, I don't. I respect it and pull back, and I advise that for anyone who's a creative,
Mm-hmm.
for anyone who and most creatives already know that themselves anyway. They know better than not to force creativity and not to force a hand. But it has to do with everything with my mindfulness, my respect to the craft itself, and to the energies coming through me.
That's right. Absolutely. And we give thanks for that. We give thanks to your obedience because you have created and continue to create some most fabulous offerings for us here. I want to
Thank
go to
you.
the comments and the community sharing. I love the community. Thank you all so much for coming on
Yes.
in with us. You could be doing anything. We know it's the middle of the day. Many people are back at work, and they even inboxed me and was like, "Mama Yoga, I'm gonna be working. I can't come through." But I'm like, hashtag replay, or hashtag go to the. We can't really hashtag this whole thing I'm about to say. But go to the podcast because the audio will be there. So, hey, Queen of Reality, Sekhmet, peace, sister. Thank you for coming on. More juice. Thank you. We love that. And Noire, you see our beloved Noire on there?
I don't know where you're looking, but I
Oh,
trust you.
yeah,
I don't.
it's good. It's good. We're going to have more tutorials offline. And
Yeah.
peace. We appreciate y'all. So we have a question down here that says, let's see, where can we get your clothing? Is there how can people access all these beautiful wares we're telling them about?
Right. So, through Instagram, you can go to my Instagram page and it'll take you to my website. I have a direct website you can go to. And what you'll find there um, are my headbands primarily. The custom pieces or the clothing collections I rarely show on there until the collection comes out. But once the collection comes out, I show it there. And then, definitely the best way is to, once you get on my page or however you get to me, is to sign up for my mailing list. Subscribe to Simply Netfah because I offer a lot of my events and special functions and exclusive offers come through my mailing list, my subscribers, our tribe as we call it.
Right. Right. Okay. Simply Netfah is your Instagram as well at Simply.
It's my Instagram, my Facebook, and my direct website, and that's SimplynetFah, Simply Netfah.
Uh-huh.
And if you hashtag Raptologist, you'll
Yeah.
find me. If you hashtag Simply Netfah. Now, I guess if you hashtag Rap Tuck, which I'm learning. I gotta put that in a hashtag now.
Yeah.
You'll find me.
So we can find, and you also have. I mean, it's just so many things we can share with people. But one of my favorite offerings of yours is the 100% woman campaign. Uh,
Oh yeah,
yeah,
you're
that's
not even mentioning
awesome.
that. Oh my
Yeah.
gosh, I
Hmm.
didn't even mention my T-shirt. Yeah,
Yeah. You're
and you're a big part of that, Samu. Shame on
Well,
me.
that's
And
okay. We flowing. It's really more
you
about
know,
dialogue than a checklist. We just flow.
yeah,
It's all good. So simply 100% woman. Perfectly flawed. How's it though? Because I gotta look at the two
yeah. It's
pictures.
it's perfectly flawed,
Mhm.
beautifully complex,
Yeah.
100% woman.
Come on here now. We gonna have to hashtag those too.
Yeah, I do have those. I do have those hashtags. I do. And that was a spirit inspired project. Just really, again, encouraging, inviting, inspiring women to just, and men too, but this one was towards women, right? To just own your uniqueness, right? Own beautifully flawed, perfectly complex selves, or, and embracing and own it.
That's
Just
right.
own it.
That's right. Absolutely. Yep. All right, my dear. So, you have a sale coming up. You can refer people to the site, or you can share the sale if you'd like. Whichever.
Yeah, I'm having a summer clearance sale this weekend, actually. It is, you do have to call in to schedule a time to come by because we're doing a one-on-one personal shopping opportunity, which is, and this is a great exclusive offer, again, that I usually bring to my tribe. And so that's taking place this Saturday and Sunday in Philadelphia, West Philly area. So if you go to my website and sign up for the mailing list, I can send you out something there.
Mm,
Because I don't think I have it posted on my site, actually.
yeah.
Yeah.
All right. Well, everybody, stay tuned. Look on to check out Simply Netfah's Instagram for updates and for when she's offering specials and shows. And just follow her Instagram. Share her Instagram with your network and your tribe, because what we really need to do and really be conscious about doing is flooding the digisphere with positive, beautiful examples of who we are. We know who they tell us that we are, but we reject that, with veracity and with, consistency, and sharing, works by sisters like Netfah from Simply Netfah Holistic Boutique helps to raise our positive and our well-being quotient. So we want to make sure that we share, like, and get talking, make it a whole vibe. Simply Netflix is a whole vibe, y'all. So
It is. It's a concept. It is certainly a concept.
yeah.
Simply Netfah, well, Netfah, my name means free woman.
Mm.
And so, it's the concept of a conscious dressing for the healing, nurturing, and beautifying of our sacred body temples.
Hey now, and on
Hey, now.
Hey now, and on that note, Simply Netfah, my dear sister, we're gonna have to close the show because they only have
Yep.
so much time. Anything else you wanted? I mean, on that note, we could close it.
Yes, we can. Thank you all for joining, and thank you, Samu, for having me. It's a wonderful exchange of energy. My first time.
Yeah, thank you everybody for joining us. We really appreciate you. And be sure to share the info, like our respective pages. Look out for, information as well as offerings that are about uplifting your mind, body, energy. And always remember, people may remember what you do. They may forget what you do. They may forget what you say, but they will never forget how you make them feel. Peace and love.
Ashe.
Peace and love.
Peace.